Hey cooks, what's up? It's Wednesday, and today on the show we're going to be talking about a few new things I got in the kitchen. We're going to be talking about a couple books, and we're going to be talking about a little foodie news. So, it's Wednesday. Let's get going. So how are you guys doing? It's Wednesday. The week is chugging along. I hope you had a great weekend last weekend. Lot of stuff going on in the foodie world. We all heard of the passing of Anthony Bourdain. And let me tell you, I heard about this when I got to work. I arrived at work and the first thing I heard about is this happening, and I was absolutely shocked. The only thing I really want to say about it is he actually had quite a bit of an impact on me. I think I first got a glimpse of him when I read Kitchen Confidential years ago. And before I read this book, I read a few things. I mean, I read My Life in France and all that. I think this book right here is one of the ones that really got me into Foodie Lit. And after I read this book, I read all kinds of stuff. I just started reading everything that I could get my hands on. This book was fabulous. This book had a lot of influences on me. I worked when I was in high school and right out of high school in a food establishment. I've worked in two. And I can't say that I had similar type of experiences that he did. Obviously I didn't, but I got a little taste of it when I worked in those restaurants. And when I read this, the first thing I thought is, you know, he's a great storyteller. And I think maybe it's might be a little embellished, but still I just couldn't put this book down. Eric even read part of it, and he doesn't read hardly anything, right? So this was my first experience with Anthony Bourdain. I also read his other book, A Cook's Tour. I think, you know, basically what I just want to say about the situation is I was shocked. He appeared to be one of those persons that went a lot through his life, but he just seemed like he really had it together. And I think it's a big loss for both the culinary world and, you know, for a lot of us, because he showed us a look into a lot of different cultures and ways of living that we've never really seen or experienced. And he did it in a really an edgy and raw way. So I think it's a really big loss, and you know, I was shocked when I heard. So I have been a longtime fan of his best friend Eric Ripert, and I read his book recently, 32 Yolks, and I think he had an interesting relationship. They had an interesting relationship because Anthony is really raw and Eric is really soft-hearted. And I just think that, you know, the whole dynamic of them was kind of interesting. So I won't go into, you know, the situation too much, except just to say that we definitely experienced a huge loss with this tragedy. So I have a few new little things. I've had these for a couple weeks, and I have one big new thing. So you guys know what's headed here, and it arrived the other day. What's headed here was my Kenwood cooking chef, and it arrived on my door in this huge box. And I can't wait to get it open. It's sitting in the entryway, and it's just calling my name, right? So we're going to do a full unboxing of that. I didn't want to unbox it without you guys, so we're going to do that. But I have a few other things to show you as well, so let's get to it. So the very first thing I have is a book that I'm getting ready to read. I think it's really interesting. It is called Thomas Jefferson's creme brulee. So what I found interesting about this book is Thomas Jefferson took James Hemings over to France to train him in French cuisine. And he brought him back, and he pretty much changed American cuisine. And this book is how a founding father and his slave James Hemings introduced French cuisine to America. I really thought this was interesting. James Hemings was obviously one of his slaves, and James Hemings was actually related to his wife. He was the son of his wife's father. James Hemings ended up at Monticello because he was inherited by Thomas Jefferson's wife and ended up at Monticello. And so he was mixed race, and he was taken over to France to learn how to cook French cuisine. And they came back to America, and he was at one time one of the best chefs in America was James Hemings. And because Monticello was sort of like an embassy, if you will, because Thomas Jefferson entertained, the upper class, the elites, and the foreign dignitaries and all that at Monticello. And Monticello sort of became an embassy. And he wanted the finest cuisine to be served there. So he took James over to France to learn how to cook. So I thought this book was really interesting. I'll put a link down in the description to it. Wanted to give this a quick read. Written by Thomas Cromwell. Thomas Cromwell wrote another book about Lincoln that ended up to be a History Channel documentary. So he's not a chef, the author. I still thought this would be interesting because I'm sort of interested in this subject, in, how American cuisine sort of develops from a historical standpoint. So this is Thomas Jefferson's creme brulee, and I'll put a link down in the description. So I was on the web, and I saw some bread that I wanted to make something the same shape. And the loaf was a little taller, a little smaller, and I thought it was kind of interesting because maybe I want to make some monkey bread in there. So I talked to the person who made the bread, and they gave me the dimensions of their bread pan. And I searched and searched, and I couldn't find one. I finally found one on Amazon, and this is it. This is a Jamie Oliver loaf tin, and the size of it is 21 by 13 by 10 centimeters. I thought this was kind of interesting. Only concern I have of it is it's nonstick, but the nonstick is not really like the same kind of nonstick that we're used to. It's sort of like a sheet that's put on here. It's kind of weird because someone said they had an issue with it peeling, and they actually just grabbed it and just peeled it off as a sheet. So I don't know how this is going to hold up, but I thought this was interesting. It is the shape that I wanted. So I'm going to try this baby out and see if I can get a loaf similar to the one I saw. I also got a couple of canning things. Now, I am not a canner. I am not planning to learn to be a canner. And mainly because I don't want to get folks sick. I just prefer, I don't eat a lot of stuff that's canned, but if I did, I prefer to buy something that's commercially canned. That's just a personal preference. But I bought this because I do make jam, and I make a lot of stock. And what's great about this is it has these pour spouts on it, so when I dip stock and I put it into a Ziploc bag and throw it in the freezer, it makes it easier. This is called the Progressive Canning Scoop by Prepworks. And it actually has a little hook on here so you can hook it like this on the inside of the pot. So you can just come by and scoop it out and pour it into your container. I also got, these weren't very expensive. They were, I don't know, this thing was probably $5, I don't know. I also got this canning funnel, and this is perfect to go into a mason jar, and so you can pour in here, but you can pretty much use this on anything. So many times that I'm trying to fill, like I keep my spices in mason jars, and when I pour it in there, it's kind of a pain. It gets all over the place. This is a great thing to use to fill them. So this is the NorPro canning funnel, and this is the PrepWorks canning scoop. And I also got, so I love these Wilton muffin pans, and I have some that are like Texas size, and when I order them, I have one that's Texas size, and when I ordered them, I thought I was ordering more Texas size, but I actually just got regular size. And I can use these anyway because I make my little lasagna cupcakes with these. And I'll put a link down in the description to the video where I made my lasagna cupcakes. They were one of the original videos that I made when we first started making videos. And these are inexpensive. I don't know, I think 2 of these are like $5 or $6. So these are the Wilton 6-cup muffin pans. They're very good. I have a set of these already, and we just beat them up. So I'm not going to send these back because I ordered the wrong ones, and I can keep them anyway. But yeah, so they make Texas size, and they make these regular size. So guys, you know that my favorite bread machine is the Breadman Ultimate. If you watched my my bread machine dinner rolls recipe, you would know that I love the Breadman Ultimate. And the one I love is this one. And this is the TR2200C, and unfortunately, they don't make it anymore. So Eric got me this off of eBay, actually for Valentine's Day, and I still have it sitting here. And do you know what this is? This is an original Breadman Ultimate in its original box, and it has never been opened. This hasn't been opened for 20 years. This was a Best Buy in 1998. This bread machine is at least 20 years old, and it is still sealed in the original box. Now, look at it, it even has a little sticker on. Someone bought it at Sears. I can tell you that I have one of these machines, and I've been using it since this machine came out. I absolutely and totally love it. But I love this bread machine. And when I saw this sitting on eBay, I wanted this bad boy. And I told Eric about it, and he was like, heh heh. And then the next thing I know, it's gone. It's sold. And I was like, what? It got sold. And then on Valentine's Day, he gave it to me. So wasn't that so nice? But I'm scared to open it. This poor bread machine has been trapped in this box for 20 years. 20 years it's been trapped in this box.
Comes with a 1-year warranty.
It has a 1-year warranty. I wonder if it's still good, given the fact that it's never been opened. I don't think so. Yeah, I think it's past the 90-day return period. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a question up on my Facebook group. If you're not in my Facebook group, go ahead and send me a request. There's a link down in the description. It's facebook.com/AmyLearnsToCook. And I want to know if I should open this. Should I free the Breadman from its 20-year confinement. I don't know why I'm so weird about taking this out and using it. Maybe because it hasn't been touched by human hands outside the factory. And I'm like, I don't know, am I like destroying history if I open it up? But this might be the last known Breadman Ultimate from this kind of model that's still sealed in the box. So I'm going to put a question up in the Facebook group and let me know if you think I should open this and do you want to see it? So join my Facebook group and let me know what you think.
Or should it go into the Amy Learns to Cook Museum as is?
Yeah, should it go into the permanent Amy Learns to Cook Museum? Never to be removed from its original box. So I just want to give a quick shout out to my girl Jolie. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Thanks for joining the group and thanks for all your great comments. She is currently equipping her kitchen. She's got a brand new kitchen and she's buying everything. She's getting all new stuff. So if you have any advice for her, join the group and join in on the conversation and let her know what your favorite kitchen stuff is. And we'll help her equip her kitchen. Fun, huh? So some questions I've received on Amy Learns to Cook in the comments this week. Somebody asked me, did you figure out how to work the mixer fully? We were talking about the Ank. I have a full test and review on the Ank, and I will put a link to that in the description. Let's see what else we have here. Here are tons of questions. Someone made a comment about fajita seasoning, because I tend to put it on everything. And they said that they put it on everything too. Fajita seasoning, any kind of barbecue rub, anything like that is a great all-purpose seasoning. If you want that little kick and that smoky flavor on something, I put it on eggs, I put it on vegetables, I do put it on everything. French fries, you name it. Somebody asked about apple pie. I have a Dutch apple pie that I made a while back. I'll put a link to that in the description. And a lot of people are asking me about bagel dough ever since we got the Hobart. I plan on testing some bagels. I love them. They're very interesting to make because you have to make the dough and then you drop them into boiling water. So I need to develop a really good recipe because I love bagels that are nice and soft on the inside, but they have that stickiness on the outside. You know how a good bagel has? So I need to work on that. I've actually never made bagels before, so I will try it. So I get a lot of comments where to find the recipe. And I am working on a website that has a recipe database that's fully searchable. So you can search by the name of the recipe, by ingredients, by all kinds of stuff. It is a work in progress. It's a lot of work. And because I work full time, I can't work on it all the time. So the website is coming. I don't exactly know when. I think it's about halfway done. So I'm getting there with it. So just bear with me. You will be able to print out of it and it'll have the recipe and a picture. So that will be fun. So I get a lot of questions about people asking me what mixer that they should buy. And I can't answer that question for you. The only thing I can say is review all the tests that we've done. I've given advice about what I feel like each type of mixer is good for, but it really depends on your own personal cooking style. And I can't really, make that decision for you. I would say the best thing is review all the evidence out there and buy one and go for it. There's a lot of mixers out there that you can't go wrong. And when you buy one mixer, my advice is it doesn't have to be your only mixer that you ever buy. You can have smaller mixer and a bigger one. And I know people say, oh, I can't afford both of them, but you don't buy them both at the same time. You buy them over time. So I would say review all the information, take a look at everything that you do and all the types of things that you cook, and make the decision and just get one and start cooking. Sometimes we do some things that we're like, it's almost like when I was in college and I had to do a lot of homework, and I would say, oh, I can't do my homework because I need the right pen, right? So I lived on campus, and I would go to the bookstore and I would search out the perfect pen. It was just kind of a thing for me to avoid doing my homework, right? So look at all the evidence, look at the tests and reviews, review what kind of cooking you're going to do, and get yourself a mixer and start cooking, right? And then as you develop your cooking, you may decide eventually that you may want something else. And that's fine. You can gift your mixer, you can keep it, you can do whatever, right? But some people, they buy their initial mixer and then maybe 2 or 3 years down the line, they say, oh, I might want a bigger one, or I might want a smaller one, or whatever. That's just the fun, right? We get to shop twice. So just get one, right? So I just want to say happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a great week. And I hope that you are cooking and using all these appliances and having a good old time. If there's anything specific you want to see me cook, go ahead and leave it in the comments and we'll put it on the list. I'll work on a recipe and we'll put it on the list. I really appreciate all your support all these years. Amy Learns to Cook just reached 12 million views this week. Yay, right? I just can't believe it. When I first started doing videos, I never ever thought that my videos would be looked at 12 million times. I really appreciate, this has been a really fun adventure, and there's a lot more to come, but I just want to let you know that, you know, this is a fun hobby for me and Eric, and we've really enjoyed it, and we really appreciate with you hanging on with us all this time, dealing with our shenanigans, right? And we look forward to a lot more in the future. If you like this video, please subscribe below and leave me a comment and a like. Visit my website at amylearnstocook.com. I'm also on Twitter and Pinterest at Amy Learns to Cook, and my Facebook group is at facebook.com/Amy Learns to Cook, and on Instagram I'm at Cooking with Amy. Okay.
Last dance, last chance for romance. Should we unbox it, or should we keep it in a box for another decade?
So I just want to give a quick shout out to my girl.
My gird?